So Jan, talk about the change plan that we worked on together.
So first of all, what we had to do was we had to build a very capable management team, first of all. Then we did quite a lot of regular coaching for all of the top key employees within the company. We developed a very powerful mission, vision and values. We also did some kind of annual survey where we measured our cultural awareness, and we followed up and really tracked what kind of action we have to take. And last but not least, we try to engage everyone within the company with these kind of programs.
It wasn't easy at all, and I think those were some of the hardest decisions that I had to make. You know, the realization that I would have to think about potentially changing some of those key roles in the team was a very, very difficult one. We hired a very experienced finance director, which was very important if we were going to try to attract investment in the future.
And in many ways, he was the first of a number of specialist appointments that you made to help strengthen the business, and that's still going on today.
It is. I think it was part of the transition, and it's part of the transition of many startups. As it starts to grow up and mature, you start to need to bring in specialists who have experience in a specific, segment of that business.
And we did some work on developing the critical behaviours, we called them.
Yeah.
So what was the impact of that work?
So Thales has already got some key values, and so when we started talking about critical behaviours, we were keen to make sure that they didn't overlap and they were complementary. Some of the things like delivering on promises, creating that sense of urgency, we really needed to emphasise those behaviours as being critical to the success of the programme overall.
How did we start working with you? I mean, what was the first thing that we did with you?
So the first thing we started doing together were running the discovery process to confirm the design of the program. I believe more than 18 people have been interviewed throughout the organization because we had people from the markets at top positions and people who could be participants of the developing leadership impact program. We had HRDs involved as well. And you interviewed some people, some ex-com members as well, to confirm their vision of the direction we needed to take with this program. So it was a big step in the process.
Gary mentioned the offsite work we did to develop the governance and create the strategy leads to deliver the strategies. Through that process, how did we work together? What was the working with Value Partnership like?
I think in a few words, I think it was expertise and partnership. And so the expertise, everything from the facility and what you do in getting the best out of people, but also you can draw on real life experience, which was very helpful because, as I said before, working with somebody who was an MD of an organisation for a CEO means this guy's had similar problems and challenges in their own business. So certainly a lot of trust. To go through a bit where you do expose your weaknesses and actually share that with your team, which I remember doing. It's quite painful. We're still on that journey, so it's a process, not an event.
I remember sitting down with you and giving you some feedback on how the team was running, some of the people in the team. Well, you had some very talented existing people that you wanted to invest in. We actually did some coaching there.
We did, yeah. I mean, there was definitely talent in the existing team. It needed to be coached and it needed to be developed further. And I thought there would be immense value in having you work with those individuals to really help them to grow in terms of confidence, them to understand how they can deliver more to the business. And that's been an ongoing process. And I think you've now done it with a number of individuals within our management team.
Through that process, how did we work together? What was the working with Value Partnership like?
The fact that I could ring you up, and I think I can't remember where you were, in the States or in France or something, and you rang me back, and it was just that, because the CEO's role can be quite lonely, and it's not like, oh, am I really doing this? So that ability to do that and you to advise and guide was invaluable. That's over and above the contract that we have. So I think that's been it's about trust and relationship.
In the end, you're the person as chief executive who has to live with the consequences of all this, for better or for worse. So we should never be used in place of management, and you've never allowed that to happen either.
I think you have to lead by good example, and you have to go through this first of all, and you have to make sure that no one should be afraid of it, because you are doing it yourself, and you have to learn yourself, and you have to admit that you're making mistakes. That's obvious, that's what people have seen, and I think that's why they have built some kind of trust basis to you as well as to me and to us.
The thing I liked most is the constructive discussion we had, the professionalism of the teams, not only you, Bruce, but also all the colleagues who worked with you.
So what did you value most about working with Value Partnership?
The thing that I remember is that you didn't do it for us, which was quite frustrating at times, but I think in hindsight you gave us that change management toolkit so that we could actually move forward ourselves and we weren't reliant on you. And I think one of the biggest learning points for me was that actually everybody needed to make their own story.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the leadership team standing up at a conference and just telling everybody what needed to happen. It needed to be made real for individuals. Yeah. And you really helped us do things in a different way, which was quite unusual for the team, and I think ultimately that was why we succeeded.